Hi, I wanted to give an update. I've been doing pretty good lately. Um, Relative. So I've been staying positive mentally lately. We'll say that. Not every day, but right now. So I have been getting around probably about every other day. I can leave the house for about an hour, so that's like one errand. Last couple days I haven't been able to get out. I've had a few stretches where it's gone for 3 or 4 days where I'm not able to get out. I'm not able to get around. I've had days where I wasn't able to get up and down the stairs of the house, which it's been a while since I've had that challenge, like as significantly as it's been, or that my legs really feel numb. But it's understandable because my last treatment was delayed. This treatment in January has been highly delayed. A lot of issues with changing insurance, with having no choice but to take Medicare, which just came with being disabled. If you are disabled for so long, you have to use Medicare. It turns out you're not allowed to buy insurance anymore, something I didn't know, and was actually really scary to find out last month all of a sudden when I went to go sign up for my insurance plan for the year and was no longer allowed to do that. Um, Medicare does provide a lot of services. It's not as bad as I think some people will say, but it is changing my scenario pretty dramatically. I'm no longer able to get the same level of care. A lot of my doctors don't take Medicare, so this could be a really challenging year. But I think I'm staying positive because I've had a lot of support from you guys, from people on Facebook, from friends that I talk to on a regular basis, or maybe just sporadically, or someone just emailed me out of the blue after 10 years. And it's been really great and kept me staying strong, and being creative with how I'm going to approach this year where I have less medical care and more challenging situation. Also been physically very challenged, so my energy's been, of course, very low with that. So staying positive is quite the feat. Like I said, it hasn't been every day, but right now, if I can stay positive, then I can stay creative with my solutions and have the motivation and energy to try, and bravery to try new things, not knowing if they're going to work or not. So on that positive note, some of those new things I'm trying, I've started this diet. It's like a very strict version of paleo. It's called the Autoimmune Protocol. You can Google that, AIP, Autoimmune Protocol. And it is basically, you're down to meats and certain vegetables, and you can't cook with, you have to, certain oils, coconut oil, avocado oil particularly are the favorites. Restricted spices. You can use herbs from plants, but not pepper, and not seeds, anything that's a seed, no nuts in your diet, no dairy, no gluten, no grains of any kind. It ends up being fairly low carb, but that's not the point. The point is to, it reduces inflammation in the body. It eliminates eliminates inflammatory foods, all additives, all preservatives as well. And you're supposed to eat only organic meats, with nothing in them. So I think in general, it's probably a pretty good idea. Long term, you need to have a little more. I think I need to have a little more variety than what this diet provides ultimately. But for the short term, I think the variety of vegetables and meats should be okay. Bone broth as well and collagen are very important on this diet. So you do two things. You're trying to reduce inflammation and potentially put your autoimmune disease into remission. It does work for some people, and it not for others. Some people might have the same disease. It works for them and not the other person. They don't, who knows? But it's worth a shot. Maybe it'll just make my symptoms a little bit better. I do seem more clear-headed, like I'm thinking more clearly. I still struggling with speaking, but yeah, it seems like my thoughts are coming together just a tad better. I've been on this for 3 weeks now. Getting enough calories is definitely really challenging. It's a lot of work to prepare all these fresh foods. My boyfriend is definitely challenged. He spent a lot of time yesterday on it. And already what he made yesterday is almost gone. And it's a lot of it's a high volume of vegetables to feed a person, like purely on that and some meat for the week. which is, I mean, in a way, it's kind of good to see. It's kind of sad in a way how little I had in vegetables comparatively prior to this. So maybe it will be good just for that. The other major thing it does is it's supposed to heal your gut and stop causing irritation. A lot of foods may irritate your gut. You don't know what those are. So you talk about food allergies, food sensitivity, but also they're just foods that may irritate you specifically. I guess that's a sensitivity, but you might never notice it. Or it might be chemicals or pesticides or who knows. Really, I don't even think the protocol defines what. They just know that like certain people will find randomly, say black pepper bothers you or eggs bother you or certain foods. So what you do is you do this very strict version for like 3 months. So your body gets very used to it and you have some time to heal your gut. And then you move on to this phase of reintroduction where you try each food one at a time. Not like a category like grains, but each grain one a week in small amount and see if you feel any different, increase that amount, and see if eventually you notice if any of these foods you reintroduce are bringing your symptoms back. So the diet on its own is not going to cure CIDP, but it may help me feel better. So what I'll do is, writing down and tracking and using these videos also to track improvements. And then when I reintroduce, when I start feeling, if there are things that go away, it's probably not going to be everything, but if I see those things coming back, then I might know that food is contributing to those symptoms and I can cut those foods out. So that's a very simple, very difficult, but at the same time also very free or cheap thing to do. So that's what I'm doing. Another big thing I'm doing is researching stem cell, which is a kind of cutting edge field for a lot of diseases. Something that's in the area of research and development, and also some clinics are offering stem cell therapies and stem cell transplants. Of course, none of that is covered by insurance. It is not at that stage yet. These are the new stuff that's coming out. Eventually it may be, who knows, but I don't have time for eventually. So that could be 10, 20, 30 years from now. I'm looking right now I talked to one of the clinics that does stem cell transplants. There aren't a lot of people with CIDP in the world. I mean, there are a lot, but the ones that have it serious, if you get down to the population of people who have it as seriously as I do, and who then get to the point where, and they're still young enough because it's a disease that typically is with an older population, and then they're well enough to undergo a stem cell transplant, which involves chemotherapy to kill off your immune system. That's a very small population of people in this world at large that have been able to do that. I talked to this one clinic and they've had 10 patients over the last, I think, 5 years or ever of CIDP that have had the transplant. So I'm going to keep doing research. I've been able to get in touch with a few of those patients because they're already in my support group. And we'll just see if that might be something that's worth the risk involved. There are definitely downsides and consequences to killing off your immune system with chemo. It's very dangerous. It could cause some other diseases and problems. So, there's some debate on whether that's really a good idea or not right now. So looking into that, just a research phase for myself. Also funding. That's extremely expensive, anywhere from $60,000 to $120,000 out of pocket, all at once, basically. So, that would require a fundraiser. So I think so, it would. So I don't know if that's in reach for me, but I'm at least researching the possibility. There's also some other stem cell therapies that are less costly. There's one that's they talk to a doctor locally for about $20,000 every couple of years. And that there's no cases that have shown effectiveness that we've found yet. But maybe I could be the first one. It'd be super experimental. So that's what I'm up to. The support from people on Facebook, the support from friends and people I talked to lately has been extremely helpful in allowing me to stay positive, motivated, and courageous looking at these treatments for myself and trying this new stuff. So thank you to everybody who's done that, to people who've watched my videos, and anyone who sent just supportive words. Even had someone contact me who hasn't for decades, and I was just really felt, it feels really great. If you know people in your life too that suffer, that are in situations like mine, it can be extremely isolating. You can't get out of the house, you can't go to meetups, you can't go out with friends, nobody has time to come to your house, there's nothing really to do at your house, you're too sick to do anything, you can't predict, you can't plan in advance, etc. It sucks. So, just saying hi to people like me can mean a lot. Just saying, like, you matter, I think about you, that means a whole lot. And helps me feel forward to have the energy and stamina to keep fighting. So thank you guys. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks for listening. I have treatment tomorrow, so hopefully some good news soon. It's my first treatment that's at the hospital, so we'll be checking in tomorrow morning and see how that goes. New adventure with this disease. I hope it's a positive experience. I've heard mixed things. Gonna have a positive mindset going in. Wish me luck. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great week out there.